folks, welcome back. I'm glad you're back to learn about two more topics. I'm going to talk on this video about margin of safety because it's like this long. That's it. It's quick and easy. And then degree of operating leverage. And that one's a little bit harder, a little bit more complicated to get through, but I think we can do it. Okay, so let's start with the easy one first. Margin of safety. The definition is it's the excess of expected sales over break-even sales. So to put that into a math formula, it's expected sales minus break-even gives us our margin of safety. So what that means is it's how far can our sales go down before we enter the danger zone of a net loss area. Okay, so we can compute margin of safety in number of units, in sales dollars, or in a percentage format. So let's just say that our expected sales are 187.5 units. Our break-even sales are 62.5. So that means we have 125 units margin of safety. I believe we plan this at 100. Well, we have the sales dollars at $10 a piece. So sales dollars would be $18.75 minus $6.25 gives us 1,250 sales dollars that can drop before we have a net loss. If we put it in percentages, the expected sales will always be 100%. If I take 62.5 divided by 187, I get 33%. If I take 625 and divide it by 1875, I also get 33%. So 100 minus 33 is 67%, or it's 125 divided by 187.5, or it's 1250 divided by 1875. Gives me the 67%. So that's margin of safety. Pretty easy. Typically in homeworky problems, you have to actually do the break-even sales. They'll give you the expected sales, and then you figure out what the margin of safety is. So I think you guys can handle that pretty easy. All right, let's go to the second topic for this video. Degree of operating leverage. This leverage has to do with cost structure of the company. And it's the proportion of fixed cost to variable cost. So small changes in how you structure your company can have huge impacts on your profits. So high fixed costs are more risky than high variable cost. And I'll show you how it works. So I have created two companies, Company 1 and Company 2. And I have made Company 1 riskier because it has a higher fixed cost component. So the fixed cost are $7,000 for Company 1 and $2,000 for Company 2. And we're going to see how changes affect the net income of the company. So right now the net income is the same. So the computation, the formula for degree of operating leverage is your contribution margin divided by your operating income. And I typically just call it net income. So the degree of operating leverage for Company 1 is 8,000 divided by 1,000 gives me a number 8. Just leave it at that. For Company 2, 3,000 divided by 1,000 gives me a number 3. So here's how we interpret that. For Company 1, the percent change in net income will be 8 times the percent change in sales. Okay? For Company 2, the percent change in net income will be 3 times the percent change in sales. So what that means is that Company 1 is more volatile. You have a change in the sales, and it really affects the net income. So it has big swings of, with more risk, greater risk comes greater reward, or greater risk comes greater losses. This company 2 is a more stable company because it only has whatever happens to sales, only 3 times that percentage will happen to net income instead of 8. So if you want to take risk, you want a high fixed cost. If you want to be not so risky, you want a lower fixed cost in your company. So let me show you an example of how it works. Let's see if we can get through this. Alright, so what happens to net income if sales decreases by 10% for each company? Okay, so the sales are at $10,000 right now, or 1,000 units. So 10% decrease would go from 1,000 units to 900 units, because what I would do is I take 1,000 units times 90%, and that incorporates the 10% decrease. Sales price stays the same, so the sales are still 9,000. Okay, our variable costs for company 1 are $2 a piece, so that becomes $1,800. The variable costs for company 2 were $7 a piece, and so that is $6,300. So look at the difference in my contribution margins. For the riskier company, my contribution margin is $7,200. For company 2, it's $2,700. The fixed costs are $7,000, yielding a $200 profit, or they're $2,000, yielding a $700 profit. Well, this one looks better right now, doesn't it? Because it has more income with less units than this one does. Okay, so let's figure out this interpretation. The percentage change in net income. Okay, so let's get that percentage change in net income. So 1,000 minus percentage change, 1,000 right here. 1,000, the old net income minus the new net income divided by the old net income, by what you came from. So 800 over 1,000 is 80%. So 10% was the change in net income times 8, the degree of operating leverage, gives us our percent change in sales. Change in net income will be 8 times the percent change in sales. So the original net income, $1,000, times the DOL times the percent in sales, which is 80%. So 1,000 times 80 is how much my net income will increase or decrease. So notice that $800, since sales dropped 10%, that's $800 decrease in net income. And lo and behold, our net income went from 1,000 to 200. So $200 became the new net income. Alright guys, listen to this. I can ask any kind of question about this in a test situation or in homework, and you need to make sure that you give the answer to the question that's asked, not what you think it ought to be. Okay? If I ask, in this situation, how much will net income decrease? The answer is 800. If I ask, what will the new net income become? The answer is 200. Okay, so you have to make sure that you answer the question that's actually asked. Alright, so let's look at company 2. The percent change in net income. Alright, old net income minus new, 1,000 minus 700 is 300, divided by 1,000 is 30%. What is the 10% decrease in net income times the degree of operating leverage? That's our 30%. So here, how much will net income decrease? It's 1,000 times 30%, or 300. And it did decrease by 300. It went from 1,000 to 700. What does the new net income become? 700. And you can always do the proof and make it work. Okay, the degree of operating leverage takes a little bit of work and a little bit of practice getting to where you can do the right answer. So practice on it, do a good job, learn it, and come back for more knowledge about cost, volume, profit. Okay, bye-bye.